Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is the Tattoed Tarot and today's reading is going to be how do others perceive you? How do other people view you? How do other people perceive you in their minds? So we have 3 piles to choose from today, so take a moment to decide which one resonates with you. You may resonate with more than one pile and that is okay. We have pile number 1, the Dragonfly. We have pile number 2, the Phoenix. And pile number 3, the Sword and Rose. So again, take a moment to inhale and exhale and decide which pile you would like to choose. And I'll see you at your pile. Hello and welcome to your reading, pile number 1. This is going to be your reading on how other people perceive you. I am really sorry about the little bit of glare up here, but I have to use the ring light. So I do apologise and hope that it isn't too distracting to the reading. So I'm just going to go ahead and read your cards. These are already pre-shuffled and cleansed, and these are what came out through shuffling. These are not chosen, these are what flipped out. So for the first thing that I'm getting, that how do people perceive you? They perceive you as an extremely loving soul, pile number 1. The Dragonfly. You have a light-hearted energy to you, but that light-hearted energy is full of love. Regardless of your gender, you are perceived as the divine feminine, as a mother, as a goddess here. We have the 2 archetypal cards. Nurturance, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. Then the goddess, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force and sensuality. And even here, with a sacred union, we have the partnership and romance. I feel like people do perceive you as someone who is incredibly loving, and in relationships you are romantic, in friendships you are loyal and enduring. If you have children, they see you as a really great mother, the epitome of what a mother should be, or what a father should be, what a parent should be. You embody love in its highest form. We have the love here with the number 10. And there's a lot of heart imagery around here, even on the goddess. We have the goddess here with the hearts on her dress. We have the love heart here, right here, in this, it's going to fall down. Holding the heart. I think that you are someone who is perceived as wearing your heart on your sleeve. Now, whether you agree with this perception or not, this is, maybe you do feel like you are like this, but either way, this is how people are perceiving you. I think that you are the type of person that people might even emotion dump on at times. I think that you're incredibly healing to be around. I think that your energy is extremely soft and inviting, and you might often find that other people are coming to you with their emotional problems or burdens, and it's almost like you transmute that into love and into light for them. And, they trust what you say. The Queen of Swords here is a bit of an opposing energy to the energy that's over here, because the Queen of Swords is known to give half-truths. The Queen of Swords is traditionally perceived as someone who can be a little bit more cold and a little bit more discerning, and someone with extremely, I wouldn't say, how do I put this? It's not necessarily that you don't have high boundaries, high boundaries, and the Queen of Swords does. It's more that the Queen of Swords is not really perceived as a nurturing figure, especially of all the queens. She is described as the coldest because she gives the truths, and the truths that no one wants to hear. But I feel like when you deliver your truths, pile number 1, it is with incredible love and affection and devotion, and you just give off this goddess energy. It's giving Aphrodite, it's giving, Mother Nature, and it's also giving a lot of Libra energy here with the Keeper of the Scales, fairness and balance. And, and a lot of the imagery, the female here, or the feminine energy, as, I am reading this as energy, not as gender, is wearing white. They're all wearing white here. Yeah, or very light colours, greens and healing colours. I think that people do perceive you as being extremely healing, but also as extremely pure, innocent. It's almost like despite everything that you've been through in your personal life, in your professional life, whatever it is, whatever you have been through, it's almost like you retain your purity, you retain your heart, you retain love, you choose to love no matter what and do things out of love and kindness. I feel like people do perceive you as emotionally abundant here with this 10 of Cups. They perceive you as being a family figure. Perhaps you do have a family of your own, and people can see how loving you are, how you are the backbone of that family. That your softness and your kindness and your love is not weakness, that is your strength, and you stand in that truth. I feel like Even if you are going to tell a harsh truth to someone with this Tower over here, they trust you to deliver it with kindness and with love. And they know that you're not just going to sugarcoat anything. You might be a very kind, loving person, pile number one, but people trust that you will still tell them the truth no matter how harsh it is, because you have everyone's best interests at heart, and you're not afraid of being the exorcist, especially in other people's lives, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. It's like you are extremely, incredibly soft and kind and loving, but you do it with the best intentions. You don't sugarcoat anything. You have the Tower here. People see you as literally a force of nature. Okay? And didn't it say that on one of the cards? Yeah, nature, life force. People do see you with this force of nature, the Tower. You're not afraid to crumble, ideologies down to the ground. You're not afraid to crumble beliefs down to the ground. You're not afraid to crumble relationships or patterns down to the ground. Because as long as everything is fair and in balance and done out of the kindness, you're like, it's got to go. There's something incredibly intuitive about you as well. You do it intuitively, whether you realize you're doing it or not. You're always a truth seeker, especially with a Dragonfly. Be lighthearted, finding out things coming to light. I feel like you help these revelations in others by delivering your truth, and you do it out of love. Adapt, change, heal. And it's exactly what this Tower is about. The Tower represents a big upheaval in people's lives or your own life, a big Tower moment, things crumble into the ground that you've built. But instead of staying there stuck, you adapt, you change, you heal. And even the heart here, you can see all the other little hearts and how it's been like bandaged back together. There's a strength within that, and you do it so intuitively. I see a lot of like lilacs and violets around your energy, and pinks and whites. It revels in the intimate union with the divine. I feel like when you're giving advice to other people, even if it is a Tower moment, even if it is a harsh truth that cuts, it is through your intuition and through a channeling of the divine, through this mother figure. It's almost like the divine uses you as a mother figure, a divine feminine, a goddess, to exercise these people or these ideologies or beliefs or whatever it is that you do to transform and heal other people as well as yourself. Through your intuition. It's almost like your love is so powerful, pile number one. Your love is powerful. And there is a very Libran energy around you. Venusian, Aphrodite, Taurus. Taurus as well with the Empress here. Venusian energy, the Ten of Cups. There's something extremely, it's very loving and devoted. And I feel like people really revere you because of that you'll always pursue the truth. No matter what, no matter how harsh that truth is, no matter how many times you have to rebuild your life, no matter how many times you do it, you keep in that love frequency. And I think people, sometimes they don't know how you do it, because for a lot of people that can harden someone, that can harden their heart, that can make them cold, it can make them that Queen of Swords, it can make them cut off in a way emotionally. But you're still very connected to your heart chakra. A lot of like pale greens here as well is what I'm seeing. I feel like you do heavily operate from the heart chakra, or you connect to people through the heart chakra. Your guidance and your wisdom is through the heart chakra. And the Dragonfly here as well, lifting your wings, changing, healing. There's still a light-hearted energy to you, no matter the trials, the tribulations, no matter how hard things are, no matter what you've been through, there is still a softness to the edges. I'm hearing like soft edges, especially of your aura. It's very inviting, and it does make people feel like they belong. I feel like you give a safe space to people out of love. Perhaps for some of you, you work with charity, you work in charity work, and people come to you to help be healed and change and adapt and grow. Perhaps you're helping people who've been through their own Tower moments, and because you've been through them yourself, you understand the hardships of that, and you show others the path of their own happy family, their own happily ever after, their own fulfillment, how they can still be soft yet strong. Yeah. You keep the fairness, you keep balance. There's something that's very judicial about you, even through the challenges. And you end the cycles. Perhaps you've ended generational cycles, or you're showing other people how to still embody love through difficulty and through hard times here. You're showing other people that your heart does not have to be hardened, That you can still speak your truth and yet be this mother, this goddess, this mystic, this divine feminine. That you can still wear your heart on your sleeve. That you can still have partnerships and romance. That there is order and fairness and balance to things, no matter how hard they may seem initially. That even when that tower comes crumbling down, you can still stand in your divinity and speak your truth. Perhaps for some of you here, you are mentors or coaches or counselors, or perhaps maybe you work for like some kind of charity, like the AA meetings, or you work with homeless people, or you work, perhaps in like group settings where you're empowering others through your love and through your light. But you're also not afraid to tell them the things that you have been through personally as well. And that your own struggle is what led you to be the person that you are today. Again, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses, and how you are still connected to the divine. There's almost an element here of like people, I don't know, the people who come to you may be scared of being viewed as less than in society, or they may be viewed as like dirty in some kind of way or impure. And you show them that you can still be pure, and you're still connected to the divine, and you're still loved, and they still belong in some kind of way. No matter what society thinks of them, you show them your power and how you have risen, and how you have stepped into your own truth and light, how you have or you're on your way to your own happily ever after, and how emotionally fulfilled you are, however that looks like to you. And how there is justice in it after all. There is divine justice, if nothing else. And the justice is you. You are your own saviour. You are your own fairness. You are your own balance. You are your own justice here. You choose to be this way, despite everything. And I think people really perceive that as quite beautiful. That despite everything, you choose to be love. You choose to be truth. You choose to be balance. You choose to be fairness. And how you've exercised everything around you, and how you stand in that power now. And it's not hardened you, pile number one. In fact, it's made you a lot softer, but in that softness is understanding, love, belonging, genuinity, loyalty. And I think that people find a lot of comfort in that. I think that a lot of people do want to be you, pile number one, in the sense that they wish that they could be as strong as you. And you may laugh at this right now and think, oh, I'm not strong. I'm only strong because I've had to be. But there is learning in that. There is wisdom, and people come to you for it. When people are lost in the night going through challenges, they're looking for the light on in that house. And that's where you are with your wisdom in the dark. That's where you are. It's almost like you're pulling these people out of darkness and into the light, into truth, into their own, even through emotional turbulence. Especially when people are alone and lost. It's almost like you help lost souls find love again, be connected, to connect them back to the divine, to connect them back to their own intuition, to connect them back to their own divine feminine. Perhaps you work with a lot of people who have lost their sense of the divine feminine. It can be quite often that you can see a lot of females who have disconnected from their divine feminine and almost attach themselves to their masculine and feel like they have to go through the way of the world in their masculine, and they struggle to soften back into that feminine again because of things that they've been through. And I feel like you help them balance that back out again. Okay, everyone has a feminine and everyone has a masculine within them. It's almost like you balance the scales, the keeper of the scales, the light, the dark, the masculine, the feminine, the sun, the moon. You've got these two scales at perfect balance here. And I feel like you really embody, you practice what you preach. Yeah. That is it, pile one. They see you as love. They see you as divine light. They see you as a beacon of hope. If nothing else, you offer love and hope. For some of you, you may have really dark, long black hair. I'm seeing all the images here of dark, very dark hair. Black hair, but that also could represent how protected your crown chakra and third eye is. I feel like you're very connected to the higher chakras, but also the heart chakra. The heart up, you seem to be very connected to those chakras. Perhaps you love the colours greens and purples around you, or particularly at this moment in time. I feel like you really benefit from being around water and water manifestation and even water healing. Reiki as well, I'm hearing. Some of you may be Reiki practitioners or even physiotherapists, you know, connecting people back to their body. But again, working with the heart chakra, you mainly, predominantly work with the heart chakra of people. This is kind of like a side note here, Spirit's saying. If someone here has been doubting that, perhaps there's a little few messages here for people. But people do perceive you as love. They perceive you as this sacred divine being of love. And I feel like anyone who is lucky enough to be a friend or a partner to you, or to be in your life, they know how lucky they are to have you, and they, you know, they love to shower you. Maybe you love to shower people with gifts and affection, but they think that you deserve the world. They think that you deserve the world, that you're very loved, and, you know, that you deserve love and happiness as well. And they absolutely adore you, pile number 1. So yeah, lots of soft whites and pinks and purples and even pastel greens here in your energy field. Beautiful, a loving, high frequency energy. There's something almost angelic or goddess-like about you. Something pure and natural and earthy. Yeah, there's something how people perceive you as that. You are very loved, pile number 1. People perceive you as love. Even in your harsh truths, and even in your darker moments, you embody that love, you embody that light, and you've never let it go. So there we are, pile number 1. I hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my readings, and drop a comment down below. Tell me what you'd like to see. You know, what kind of readings would you enjoy on this channel? I thank you very much for joining me here in this sacred space today, and I shall see you at the next one. Bye. Hello everyone and welcome if you picked pile number 2, the Phoenix. This is going to be your reading today on how do people perceive you. So let's just get straight into it. These cards are already pre-shuffled and cleansed. These are what came out from Spirit. I did not pick them, but there was heavy fire energy in your pile number 2. The Phoenix, literally everything that came out for the Phoenix is kind of what I would expect, but it kind of aligned pretty funny. Because I was like, okay, we'll do Phoenix as pile number 2, and then all of the fire signs came out. Okay, I'm talking to you, my Leos, my Sagittarius, my Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You really came to the show today. I feel like your energy is very fun, very playful. People perceive you as quite optimistic. You're quite the eternal optimist. People perceive you as funny and sarcastic and perhaps even extroverted, quite extroverted. They see you as quite creative. I feel like you are someone with a lot of ideas. Perhaps you always have a lot of ideas bouncing around the place. There's something very light-hearted and playful about your energy here with the 44. We have the cat chasing, you know, the little string, but even the cat has kind of got some, you know, orange tones to them. So I do feel like in your aura or in your energy, you do have oranges there. A lot of solar plexus and sacral chakra energy, and even in creativity as well. See, the fire signs do rule sexuality and sensuality as well, do the lower chakras. And people think that that is just about intimacy and things like that. So sometimes perhaps people may perceive you as a player, as this networker, as this person who like flirts around. It could even be a flirtatious energy. But the thing is, sexual energy is also very creative, and creation is born from sensuality and sexual energy. And a lot of people forget that, especially with that Ace of Wands. So I do feel like that nature to you allows you to create and manifest. We do have here the Fire Prince, optimism and aggression. Sometimes people think that maybe you are a little bit hot-headed and you act before you think, or speak before you act, however you want to put it. People might think that you're a little bit impulsive at times because when you're focused on something, that's it. See, so it gives a little bit of stubborn energy, it gives a little bit of stubborn Leo. You know, when Leo have their heart set on something, when Leos, you know, have their little lion mind onto something and onto their prey, they go after it, and that's what they want. And, you know, they're very loyal as well, Leos. When we're specifically talking about the Sun and Leo energy, it's that lion energy, and, you know, very fiery, but very, very loyal when they do when they do care and love for people and are around people. So I feel like, you know, you're the one who would be what people would describe as either the class clown or the life of the party. Whether you like to think of yourself as that or not, this is just how other people perceive your energy. I think that you are the definition of free will and being authentic to yourself. I feel you're the type of person that would be like, F what, you know, so-and-so thinks. I'm just going to be me. I'm living life as me. And people really love and respect that for you. They see you as this powerhouse. They see you as you're someone who's not afraid of change. And, you know, some of you may laugh and think, well, I don't particularly like change, but I do it. And, you know, people do perceive you as someone who has the ability to always constantly renew and transform with this phoenix energy here. You're always going to rise from the ashes here. So much fire imagery with the sun. We have the Ace of Wands here. We even have the little fire energy around the paw here. We got the focus and the arrow here, the fire energy around that. Yeah, we have the fire energy around the prince, literally, and he's rising from these fires, rising from these ashes. I just feel like no matter what is thrown your way, you're just always optimistic. You just keep on going. You make your own destiny here, the map maker of destiny. Your authentic purpose, inspiration, free will. People might even, I just said away with the fairies. Some people might think that you're always away with the fairies with your ideas and you're doing, you know, what's this person doing now? What are they up to now? What are you doing? They can't keep up with you, pile number 2. This reading feels even scattered, like I'm jumping from the cards here and there and everywhere. That's kind of how your energy is. It's not draining. You know how some people can be quite scattered and it's draining? I feel like you infuse life and fire into people. You infuse passion into people. I'm hearing more fire, more energy. You know that, was it like a meme or a reel or something? And it was like, more passion, more energy. That's the kind of person that you give. Like, you're the person that people would want to go to the gym with because you're the person that would be like a drill sergeant. You know, but you'd also be very playful about it. You'd be like, come on, more passion, more fire, more energy. Come on, give me all that you've got. I feel like you're someone who is quite high energy to be around. Even if you don't feel that way, you still infuse other people with that energy. You could be so tired that day. You could just be like so tired and drained, and yet you're still this like beacon of light to other people. This fire, you ignite something within other people. You ignite the other days. You encourage other people. You give other people hope and inspiration that there is light. That, you know, it's almost like people might come to you with ideas and things and you might advocate for them because this inspires you to put compassion into action. So someone might be coming to you and they might be like quite pessimistic or quite down about something, and you give them the pep talk, okay? You give them the pep talk. You're a networker naturally. Enhances unity through sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. And even it might not be a high energy talk. You might not be literally giving someone a pep talk, but just having a conversation with that person or having knowledge passed on to them. You pass on knowledge that that person needs to put that idea or creative pursuit into action. And you might not even realize that you're doing it. You know, someone might just come to you and they might just say something and it doesn't really mean anything to you. You're like, oh, you know, I don't know what that means. You know, you just say something in passing. Oh, sorry, I thought I saw someone out of the corner of my eye. It scared me, but it's just one of the plants outside through the window. Oh, God. I thought I saw a male with, like, blonde hair then. Maybe you have blonde hair or ginger hair or something like that. Anyway. Oh, God, that scared me for a second then. Spirit, you see, you're coming in hard to the reading today, pile 2. So I'm like, yeah, you might just come out of nowhere. You come out of nowhere into people's lives and crash into them with your light. It kind of feels like someone comes to you, right, and they just say something like, and you don't really understand what they're on about. You don't know that they're trying to start a business, or you don't know that they're going through something personally. But you say something, and that one-liner hits. Because I feel like you're good with people. I feel like you have a lot of charisma and charm, and even just your jokes and your sarcasm and things. It lights something within people, or it sparks them again. It's almost like an unlit candle, and you've got the match and all the flame, and they've got the candle, and you fuse them together. And it creates a fire, or it creates static, it creates electricity. When you come into other people's auras, I'm seeing like electricity surging. It's almost like you know, you were going to replace the fuse, pile number 2. I don't know if this is making any sense here, but it's kind of like you end up in people's lives quite often. Especially strangers. This is how strangers perceive you. Like, you'd be that type of person that'd be in a queue, right, in a coffee shop, and you say something to the person behind you, and to you that doesn't mean anything, but to them that changes the trajectory of their whole day, which makes them make a decision that ultimately changes their life, you know. And it sounds big and it might sound dramatic, but you are big and dramatic, pile number 2. You're the phoenix. The phoenix is rare. The phoenix, you know, shouldn't exist. A figure of the imagination, but it exists on this kind of, you know, metaphorical level of this rekindling, this renewal, this transformation, this burning to the ashes and reigniting again. It's not supposed to be quiet. It's not supposed to be subdued. It's supposed to be loud. It's supposed to be out there. It's supposed to be showing off its glory. You know, the phoenix can be quite prideful. The lion can be quite prideful, but everyone knows that you don't mess with the lion, you know. You don't mess with the phoenix. Because despite their playful edge, they are focused, they are determined, they hit their mark when it counts. I do perceive that a lot of people may perceive you as a player, or, you know, that kind of player energy with the femme fatale here, as well as the Ace of Wands, quite fiery, you know, quite erotic in your energy. I feel like you stir a lot of people's hearts, even without meaning to, because I feel, again, that Ace of Wands, that creativity that comes through might come through as sensuality or erotic energy, or it might come through as intimacy, or it might come through as flirting quite a lot. I feel like you're quite a natural flirter, pile number 2, whether you like to think that you are or not. Other people think that you could make some moves. And to be fair, they'd let you. They'd be quite happy to be, you know, turned by your charm. Again, with this free will here as well, and the inspiration and the authentic purpose, I do feel like, I don't know if you do writing or it's the way that you speak, the way that you write, the way that you just live your life. It is with such purpose, and I feel like that is quite inspiring to other people. A lot of people will live life in a little box, okay, and it's to no necessarily fault of their own. But, you know, some people are quite happy being in stuck phases of their life, or they get stuck in ruts, or they get stuck in relationships, or they get stuck in jobs, or they get stuck in the 9 to 5. And I feel like that is just not for you. I feel like you're the type of person who sees things through to the end. Other people think that you see things through to the end, and they also think that you're quite well travelled. Whether you have travelled physically a lot around the earth, or you have travelled spiritually, as in you are quite an old soul, and you've travelled a lot of lives, it seems like you have a lot of wisdom, and you have the capability to end cycles. This talks about ending cycles, starting new beginnings, literally the world and then the ace. It's almost like you're not afraid of that death, rebirth, transformation. And whether, even if you are afraid of that, even if you think, sat here today, that you are still someone who is quite stuck in your ways, you like what you like and that's it, you don't think that yourself is fiery, other people perceive you as almost a cycle breaker, or almost, a cycle breaker, because it feels like you pull the lever up and you break the cycle. You're like, the cycle ends with me. So whether that is to do with some deeper generational trauma work within the family, whether that is to do with, you know, choosing to live your life in such a way that inspires other people to live their life and their authentic purpose, it's almost like you put people back on the right path. I feel like you might have a lot of soul contracts in this lifetime, pile number 2, where it's not that you don't have bigger soul contracts, but I feel like you have a lot of smaller, minor small contracts with people, where you're kind of sent in only briefly to meet with people, or to only briefly be friends with them, or to only briefly see them in a queue, or say a phrase in passing, and that is what ignites their soul. That is what allows them to break the cycle, or allows them to have that creative idea that sparks something within them. It's almost like you spark the soul, or you spark awakening within other people. I guess it could be like a spiritual awakening as well. You can spark some kind of spiritual awakening through your throat chakra, through your words. The throat chakra does seem to be important here. Again, there is a level of empathy to you as well. I don't feel like people think that you're shallow, pile number 2. I think that people think that you're playful and fiery and fun, but people know that there is something deeper within you. There's something deeper that shakes them. Perhaps some people are even a little bit intimidated by you, but you do have a lot of empathy. So I feel like the minute people are you kind of sense that people are going to be a little bit afraid of you, or you're being a little bit too much, I do feel like you dial that down a little bit. I do feel like you dial that down and you turn it into compassion, and you go into the heart chakra a little bit more and you connect with them on a heart chakra level. That's just a little bit of side information that I'm kind of getting there from spirit. But people do think that you're serious business. They think that, you know, you're very powerful. 1 + 7 = 8. 8 is about power. And it also is, I'm sure it's on one of the tarot cards. They've shown me the line with the 8, the infinity symbol across the forehead. Again, Leo energy. So I don't know if you have a fire sign in your top 3. Even if you've got no fire in your chart, your aura and your soul and your presence screams fire. Because there's something pure about that. Fire is purification and transformation. It literally burns it down to the ground. No prisoners, you know, takes no prisoners. But it just is. Fire just is fire, and people accept that and love that about you, that you just are. You just are. Even in your chaos, even in your destruction, you are still you, and you stay true to that, and you always hit the mark. You're always very focused here, and you always rise. You might always change your mind about things. People might see you as quite indecisive quite a lot of the time, but they see a lot of growth within you. Every time they see you, you might be the type of person that has done something different with their hair, that has done something different they've got more tattoos, they've got more piercings, they've got a whole new wardrobe, they've decided to renovate their house and their living room, even though it looked blue 3 months ago, now it's green. And then you'll go again in another few months and it will be red or something. Like, you're always changing, you're always growing. And you don't apologise for that. You don't wait for people to catch up. You know, fire burns fast. You don't wait for people to catch up. You just are who you are, and people respect that about you, pile number 2. And I think that you really reignite other people to start their own journeys, to start their own spiritual journeys, to start their own healing. You see the light and the fire within other people and you ignite it. You show them that side of themselves that maybe they have kept in the dark. Perhaps you reignite people's shadows as well, and some people might even find you triggering at times. I do feel like for some of you, some people might be intimidated by your energy. It might be perceived as aggressive or, what's the word? I don't want to say like, because I don't think that you're purposely being aggressive. I don't think that you go out of your way to be aggressive. I think that it's passion, and I think that you have so many things, and I think that you just love life, pile 2, and you have so many things that you're excited about. Some people might find it overwhelming at times, your knowledge, because they might feel a little bit inferior or inexperienced compared to you. Especially, it might just even be from past lives. You have so much soul knowledge, so much soul fire. You know, and if people have been sitting in the dark for a long time, that light might be a little bit blinding at first. They have to kind of adjust to it and get used to it. They might have to shut their eyes and walk away a little bit at first. So you might have a lot of people in your life, pile number 2. Okay, this is a side note from spirit, that come into your life and you think that you're getting along really well, and you know the fire's going back and forth and the conversation's going really well, and you feel like you're really getting along with people, but then they kind of just like disappear or fall out of your life, and you're kind of like left wondering like, well, what did I do wrong? There might be times in your life where people have walked away from you and come back quite often, because after a while, once they've done the inner reflection, once they've ended their own inner cycles, they kind of realise, oh, pile number 2 was actually really amazing. And they actually taught me this. They taught me this lesson, and even though I didn't know it at the time, and they're still drawn to you. They're drawn to the flame. You know, it's almost like you're this beacon, and they might come back in after so many years or months and apologise, because again, you might hit the mark, especially if that's painful at first. When the arrow goes in, you might hit something within them, deep within their soul. Again, we have this wands imagery. The wands. We have even the quill and the pen. Again, it's like a straight arrow. We have the bow here. There's something that can hit quite sharp about you. Very sharp mentally as well. I do feel like you are very physically attractive. A lot of you here have naturally blonde hair or blondie brown hair, you know, kind of like that medium colour. You might have a darker aesthetic though, chosen. Like, you might naturally be blonde, but you might dye your hair dark. You might naturally suit light colours, like light coloured clothing or something, or you were once. You know how there's that trend that's going around, like, I was the sun, but now I'm the moon. I feel like there is an aspect to you that's like the moon here. Like, you either choose to represent yourself a little bit darker, but your energy is quite light naturally. Like, you choose to represent quite darker, yeah. Like, there's something here about, like, grounding energy, blacks and reds and rich colours. But your actual energy is very light. Yeah. You do. Yeah. Anything else, please, Spirit? You have a lot of 4s around you. On all of the cards, there is like a 4 element here. And also 20s. We've got the 20s here. So you might resonate with 444, 44. That might be like your number. But you also just maybe very grounded and stable, deep. Like you might come across as this, but people know that what you are quite solid. You're quite stable. They might not actually see that at first, though, pile number 2. They might just see all this fire at first and think that you're frolicking around and you don't know what you're talking about. But I feel like when people do actually get to know you, they get under the humour and they get under that fire, and they do find that there's something very earthy there and grounded, and something very wise old soul, and very compassionate and caring. I do feel like you might not close your heart off a little bit at times, but you might like play it off a little bit, play it off a little hofty, or whatever it's hotty. What is it? Is it? Yeah. Is that the right word? You're playing it off a little bit cool. But I do feel like you are a deeply compassionate person. I do feel like you do genuinely love being around people and helping people. Even if you can't sustain that constantly and you do like your own alone time, there's something very deeply magnetic and sensual about you, pile number 2, that advocates for others. You're not the type of person to put someone down. You'll light someone up and give them compliments, Again, that type of person that would give a compliment to someone behind them. And you're like, well, why would I be afraid of saying that compliment to that person? You only live once, live life, say the nice thing, do the nice thing, transform, heal, change, grow, rekindle things. I feel like people just see you as loving life. Even you're like, well, everyone deserves a second chance. Just do it. You only live once. Everyone can change. And I think like you are the epitome of change and healing and growing. And people see that and they're like, wow, I want to be like pile 2. That optimism, the way you just effortlessly and authentically live your life. It ends things in other people's worlds that allows them to start again, because you're not afraid to start again. You're not afraid to start new projects or start a new life or move houses, or you're not afraid to just go. But you're like, I don't care you're an eternal lover and learner of life. I'm not afraid to go back to college or university and learn something new from the beginning. Everyone starts somewhere. Again, there's something about your soul that just seems extremely well-traveled. It feels like you're the type of person that would have a lot of amazing stories. I feel like people love talking to you, pile number 2, because you just say the most unexpected random things. Like people would not expect you to know about welding. I don't know. Perhaps you're like talking to someone and you randomly come out with the time that you spent in another country, or the apprenticeship that you had being a plumber that one time, even though you had no experience, and you were like, oh yeah, I did it for 3 months or something. And then you can tell them something about plumbing randomly. I don't know. There's just random things coming through, and it's like so random, but people remember that because it's like, that was so random. But also, wow, I never knew that. You just come out with the most unexpected things. I think that you're very knowledgeable. I think that you're very funny as well. You're very funny and caring. So that is your reading, pile number 2. I hope that you enjoyed that. Hit the like, drop a comment down below on what you'd like to see next time. I hope that you subscribe as well. If you'd like to see more of these readings, let me know what you would like, and I shall see you at the next one. Bye, pile 2. Hello and welcome, pile number 3. This is going to be your reading on how do people perceive you. I am sorry about the little bit of glare. I really hope it doesn't affect the reading too much, but I will read the cards to you. These cards did come out for you. I did not pre-pick them. I did pre-shuffle and cleanse them, and these are what came out from Spirit. So those who picked the Sword and Rose, let's get right into it, shall we? So your energy is a little bit more of an enigma, I will say. It's a little bit harder to pin down. I feel like people are initially, their first impression is they might be a little bit confused by you, or they might be, I feel like you're quite a heavily misunderstood person, pile number 3. That is just what comes through initially. I feel like people, they can't quite pin you down to one thing. I think that your soul and your aura and your personality is so layered. Spirit is showing me like an onion, and it's almost like every time someone thinks that they've got you figured out, you peel back another layer and you show them something completely different or contrasting or even oppositional, and you're like, how can those two opposing things exist within the same person? And they're almost a little bit confused about how you've integrated these parts of your personality. Like, it doesn't quite make sense. I'm seeing like a puzzle piece, and they're trying to like put these pieces back together, but then just not really quite sure what to make of your energy. Some people might be intimidated by you with the sword and the rose I am getting. There might be something about your energy that has quite a lot of strong boundaries or even a little bit cut off. I don't mean that in the negative sense. I mean that as in that there is something about your energy where people can only come in if they're ready to hear the truth, if they are ready to see you without rose-colored glasses on, I'm hearing. And because there is something very honest and raw and open about you, and something also that's very connected to spirit and to your own self and your own higher self. I feel like out of all of the piles, you probably are the most spiritual out of the piles that I've done today, but also the most connected to the higher self. And for a lot of people, some people might find that intimidating, or that they're just not quite there yet with it, so they might reject you or turn away from you. And you might have dealt with a lot of that in your life, a lot of rejection or a lot of feeling misunderstood by people. So that is initially what comes through upon first impressions. So either at that point, people will walk away from you, or they will stay and find out more about you. I feel like people do see you as someone with high virtue and high honor. With this sword and the rose, there's something very regal about your energy. Again, on first impressions, people might even perceive you as being a little bit stuck up or a little bit of a snob at times. Like perhaps there's things that you do or say because you do it in such a regal manner that people are kind of a bit like, oh, like maybe they feel a little bit shut down by you or like not accepted by you. I don't feel like you mean to do this. I feel like that, again, that is how just people are perceiving you. I feel like you live in your truth and you are who you are. You stand solid in your individuality, and you're always honest. You're always open. I do feel like you're an open person. I feel like maybe you feel like you're an open book, but other people feel like you're quite closed off, pile number 3. Even you might be confused about how other people view you, because you're like, hang on, I'd feel like I'm like this way, but other people treat me like I'm a villain. Other people treat me like this. I think this is why, pile number 3, because again, there is so many layers and facets to your personality. Even I'm having a hard time trying to read all this and make sense of this. Again, there's something regal about you. Again, it's kind of giving like Queen or King of Swords here. Very intelligent, very well-spoken, very well-mannered as well, I'm hearing. People might think that you're very well-mannered, very well-educated. That when you speak words of wisdom. And, you're very encouraging towards the people, towards yourself. Again, there is something highly protective about you. Again, your energy field might be very highly protected, even from like a spiritual level. Your energy field holds a lot of power. It's very protected, so only those who are worthy, quote unquote, are allowed in. So even spirit themselves might be very protective over who comes in your energy. So if you meet people and then they fall out of your life, kind of a little bit similar to pile number 2, so you might have been drawn to pile number 2 here as well, but only go there and see that reading if you resonate with it. Or you feel called to. But again, if people kind of fall in and out of your life, or people suddenly remove themselves from your life, I do feel like that is spirit, because your aura is heavy. It's like, it's dense, but it's dense as in like nothing can just get in. There's something, I'm seeing a lot of purple around it, a lot of like amethyst kind of colours, and I'm seeing it being like very dense, like an impenetrable bubble around you. And it's obscured. So when something is quite like opaque, but it's like it's fogged. Like I can see this aura, and I know there is a soul inside of it, but I can't get in it. I know I could knock and bang at it as much as I wanted, but I can't get in it unless I had the right code or the right energetic frequency to get in there. And I can't see what's in it because it's like murky, because again, you're being veiled, you're being hidden. So for some people here might feel like they're invisible, that you feel invisible to other people, and perhaps you are literally and spiritually, quite figuratively, invisible. Only to those who can come in here. Again, do you see how the Lady of Lightning here? I am seeing that there is a lot of like, kind of like lightning around your aura, or like something. Do you know how I said like there was like it was cloudy inside your aura? It was like purple and cloud. This is kind of what I mean, like that kind of opaqueness to it, where it's like it's in this bubble and it's impenetrable. And yeah, this could, be representing you, no matter what no matter how you identify, male, female. You have this golden light around you as well. I'm seeing a lot of golds, a lot of purples. Again, they are quite regal colours. I'm also seeing dark reds, like burgundies around you as well, and navies, that kind of colour, but mainly the purple and the gold. very highly spiritually enlightened. And people might feel like you're full of surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift. Perhaps people see you as powerful. 3 plus 5, 5. 3 plus 5 equals 8, and 8 is all about a number of power. It's also about divinity and the infinity symbol. So people see you as infinite, they see you as powerful, but they always see you as like shifting paradigms. Again, there's almost a bit of like confusion within your energy that sometimes shocks and surprises people. Like one day you're eating this kind of diet, and then the next day you're eating this kind of diet, and then they go to your house and they see that you've redecorated it, and then they go a few months later and then you've shifted something else and you've redecorated another room. You're always changing, you're always growing, and it might be a little bit of that people can't keep up with that at times. We have the shapeshifter here, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness. Ability to see the potential in everything. Again, I see you navigating through these chakras and just like maybe... Sorry, my nose is really running really... I don't know if some of you got hay fever right now, but that's just come on all of a sudden. So excuse me. Some of you might have runny noses right now, or hay fever, or just be getting over a cold. Hang on one second, guys. Sorry about that. People see you as like navigating through these chakras and navigating through these levels. You know, the ones that have, the OGs, as we call them, might have been around from the days when you were here. And now you're all the way up here. And even though, you know, you're in that purple kind of golden energy now, people still see all these layers beneath you of who you once were. Perhaps you're always reinventing yourself. You're always reinventing your hair, your home, your job, the way that you live life, your diet, perhaps, you know, you're someone who never really used to be into health and fitness, and now you're into health and fitness. Or now you're someone who really is into spiritual work and you never really used to be into that. But people see you as constantly shifting and changing and growing as a shapeshifter. And I feel like every time people see you, they're kind of shocked by like what you've done next, but it almost like they're not shocked anymore. It's a shock at first, but then once they kind of realize that that's just who you are, they're kind of like shocked if you don't. Like if you're for example, if you're someone who always changes your hair color and you don't change your hair color for like a solid 6 months, they're kind of like, are you okay? What's wrong with you? You haven't changed your hair color in a while. What's your next hair color going to be? That's just so you know? You know, you need to be, you know, you've normally changed your hair by now. And people might actually start to question it once they get used to this level of version of you. Again, number 8s are a lot around you, and 1s seem to be quite powerful. You might be a master number as your life path number. I'm hearing 11, 21, 22 or 33, sorry. But again, it's almost like you've navigated these different levels of consciousness. And people do really see the spiritual transformation within you as well. People really do see the spiritual transformation in you, and they see you as a mentor. They see you as a guide or a companion. I'm not sure if you can see that card here with the glow, but they do see you as a companion. Loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. I feel like, you know, if you've made it to the top, you don't hog how you got there. You know, you're more than willing to share your wisdom and your light with other people. You are very kind and you are very considerate with the high lady of love and compassion. But do you see how it says the high lady? And the lady here is almost like it's giving the lady of the manor vibes. It's giving regal. It's giving like Victorian era. You were the Viscount and the Viscountess or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you might really love that like Regency era for some of you. The Victorian era. Perhaps you really love like vintage things from like the 16, 17, 1800s. Perhaps, you know, the corsets and the ball. It's giving ballroom dance and masquerades. There's something very like rich about your energy that people love. It's almost like a privilege to be around you, right? That's how it feels. It's your energy. We have reverence, kindness, and consideration. People do really revere you. They respect you. They respect your honesty as well. They see that you're always moving, that you're always going places. And it's an honor. They see you as someone who... It's an honour to be in your life as a friend or as a relationship. I feel like you have a lot of friends who might even romanticize you, or you have a lot of people who would love to be your friend, who would love to be your partner. And maybe, you know, not all of them would be best suited towards you, but I feel like you are someone who would have a lot of suitors, or a lot of people would, you know, easily fall in love with you, or easily be your friend and easily be your companion, because it's not that you're easy to be around. I actually feel like people have to be a certain frequency to be around you. Again, you know how I said how your energy was so protected, and it almost feels like it's a privilege to be around you. And it's not that you're better than anyone else. It's not that you're, it's not that you're a snob or anything like that. But you have such a unique individual frequency. People have to be in their own individual, unique frequency to be. They have to be their authentic selves, right? Let's put it that way. People have to be their authentic selves. They have to be willing to change and grow and heal with you. And not a lot of people will want to do that. A lot of people like to stay stuck. A lot of people don't like to spiritually grow. A lot of people, they get happy at certain levels and they're happy to live their life that way. Or they're happy to mask and live the 9 to 5 and do that kind of thing. And you're not. I feel like you're the type of person, you live your truth honestly, and you're always yourself, or you at least try to be, and you try to mentor that within other people as well, passing on wisdom and refining the student's character. There's something about you that's very refined, and I feel like the only kind of people who can stick around your energy are the ones that are honest and true to themselves, is what I'm trying to say. So it's not that they're, how do I explain this? I'm really struggling to like put your energy into words, pile number 3. It's not that you're a snob, or it's not that you're this higher being that is above everyone else, even if you're embodied into your higher self. It's that if people aren't truly themselves around you, then they can't be in your energy because it doesn't resonate with yours. It kind of like grinds against it, and it creates this like electric friction, and people just can't be around you. It just naturally like rules them out. So I feel like you do have a lot of people around you who would love to be your partner, would love to be your friend, who see the potential in that, and perhaps you see a lot of potential in other people, but you're the one who is actually living your potential, and some people aren't. Some people aren't living their potential, and they naturally get like weeded out of your energy. And again, it's only the few that are willing to do that, that will heal with you and grow with you and learn with you and be honest with you, and that can handle your energy. I feel like your energy field is so specific. It's like a lock and a key. There's only certain people who can get in, and if they ain't got the key, they ain't got the key. And maybe perhaps early in your life, people used to speak bad about you. I feel like people might try and gossip about you, or have in the past, or said things about you that were just untrue because they just misunderstand you. Or perhaps they think that you're quite a gossip, or perhaps you're quite talkative naturally. But now you choose to only speak for the good of others and for the good of yourself when it's needed, when you're needed to mentor or guide. There's a lot of like Gemini energy here, or Libra or Aquarius, especially Gemini and Aquarius. Awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honouring trust. I do feel like people come to you in confidence to mentor them, to guide them, to speak to them. Again, but you'll always be truthful, you'll always be honest. There's something here about the throat chakra, very important here. Your throat chakra is very important, whether that is just in everyday life or something that you do for a job, or the way that you use your voice. I feel like you are very particular now about the people that you hang around with, or you're very particular about who you'll talk to and the things that you'll say. But you'll always speak with truth. Perhaps you never used to be like this. Perhaps this is someone you have grown into, and people can really see that you've grown into this person, this high lady, this higher self of yours. People do really see you as someone who stands out, though, from the crowd. And there is some bird imagery here. There's 2 like brown birds. I don't know if you can see it on this card, but there's like a brown woodpecker bird here, and there's a brown bird here. So that might be significant here. You might have a specific bird around you recently, or like a robin, or like, I don't really know names of birds, guys. I'm not very good with that kind of stuff. But you might have like a spirit guide who comes to you in the form of a bird, or maybe that's even your higher self. But again, this individuality here, she does have a lot of tattoos. So again, you could have a lot of tattoos, piercings. You might have something very specific about your appearance. You might, even if it's just like one specific tattoo, it's something that no one else would get. If it's one specific piercing, it might be like in a different coloured bar to what everyone else would normally wear. Everyone would wear silver and you're wearing a blue one or something. There is something here that is very specific about your appearance. And like no one else could look like you, or no one else could dress like you. And again, there's a lot of imagery of the moon being on the third eye. And even in the middle of the candle here, I feel like your third eye is very awakened, and your crown chakra. And you do channel messages from spirit. Even when you're talking to other people, I feel like people might just naturally push people forward. You naturally push people forward into their highest vibration, into their highest version of themselves by being this loyal companion. And I feel like once people get below that initial few layers of you, they do see how much of a loyal, honest, and unselfish, selfless, brilliant, loving person that you are. How kind you are, how considerate you are, how grounded you are, how much you root for others, how much you're such a great partner, possibly very romantic underneath the surface once you get there. How much of a great friend you are. Again, there's more birds on here. There's 3 birds together. There's something here about freedom and flight. How much of a free loving spirit you are. How light it actually is to be around your energy. Because you don't ask anything of anyone. You just are yourself. And all you ask is for others to be themselves. But initially, I do feel like your aura and your energy might cause shockwaves, or it might rub people up the wrong way for those who are not ready to receive you. But you are living in your higher self. You are living in your divine light. And I feel like you always have to... So you're quite like a deep person, pile number 3. You're a very wise person. The Chariot here, always trying to move forward, always growing, always going forth with force and honor and power. And stepping into your own power, charging at it like a horse, very strong, very noble, very regal, very slick and smooth, going through life like that, holding that flame of honesty for other people to step into their power and giving those words of wisdom onto other people. And you see how when this person's talking, it's almost like giving off a frequency and it's going through the other person. That's what you do. You like penetrate the walls of other people. But initially, people might be rubbed up the wrong way about it again. And that's no fault of yours. I just feel like you're quite ahead of your time. It's giving Aquarius energy, It's giving Uranus energy. It's giving Gemini energy. Sagittarius even a little bit. Quite ahead of your time, pile number 3. And people have to catch up with that a little bit or process it a little bit before they can stick around it. But once they do stick around it, they realise that it's not difficult to be around you at all. You're not a difficult person. You're not a snobby person. You don't require anything of anyone because you don't need anything or anyone. You are yourself and you stand in your own truth. And all you ask is, again, for people to be themselves, to be loyal to you. And what you give, what I give to you, you give back to me. If I give you loyalty, you give me loyalty. If I give you the truth, you give me the truth. That's all you ever ask of people. But I feel like you put that mirror up to them initially and they don't feel like they can fit the boot. They don't feel like they can fill those shoes. So I feel like it does take a highly evolved level being to be around you, pile number 3. And then maybe initially you may have taken it as rejection in the past. But now you know that rejection is divine protection. And there's a lot of bird imagery around you again. So you might see this soon. You might see a lot of birds around you. You see the potential in everything. It's almost like you always see the silver lining. You're always moving, always growing. Yeah. And like lightning, you come out of nowhere. Sometimes you come out of nowhere into people's lives and you shake them up. But there again, there's a level of love under that and consideration. And people never forget you, pile number 3. Once they know you, they can never unknow you and they can never untangle themselves from your energy because what you give them, it's like the shock of life, the CPR, the CPR of life. You give them something in their soul that they would never have otherwise been able to unlock, and they have you to be grateful for to that. There's a lot of gratitude to be around you. Even in the spirit world, I feel. So yeah, you are a very powerful soul, pile number 3. That was your reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hit the like, drop a comment down below what you'd like to see next time. And do consider subscribing if you would like to see more of my videos. I hope that you have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are. And I shall see you at the next one. Bye, pile 3.